Hello everyone, this is Mark Flopsy Shepherd once again, and welcome back to Lemmings Plus Omega II. We're continuing our post-commentary of the Spiky rank. We're now halfway through, just got another 10 levels to talk about. So Spiky 11, Big Boy Zone, 30 Lemmings, 30 to be saved. This level wasn't too bad overall. The hardest part was figuring out this mushroom section here. Looks like something out of Space Invaders with extended legs. But again, it was in the swoop of 7 to 13 that I did in 1 hour. So that's 7 levels in Spiky solved in the same session. So obvious thing to do, climb obviously. And this is pretty key as well. I'm actually building in very precise locations there. The builder needs to be there, because otherwise I think the climber doesn't survive the drop. Well, I don't think that's as precise. And I think this whole thing gets done with a fencer, which is probably the hardest bit to figure out in this level. So I initially thought that you had to mine backwards in this section, but that was wrong, and it quickly became apparent that you need the mine over here in this level. And plus, because of the shape of this mushroom section, you couldn't climb back up no matter where you dug. But once we figured out that you had to fence up through all that in one go, it wasn't too bad. So it's just platform, fence, and just do a reverse miner there. And as you can see, look, the fencer's just started, and the fencer will carry on because the fencer will detect it's taking out. Well, it might not be taking out a chunk of the builder. No, it's taking out a little bit of the builder bridge. It's all right, and he carries on through that one as well, just for good measure. And you've got to be very careful because I actually built. You actually have to build right on the edge to avoid that too much of that builder bridge being taken out. So yeah, the right hand side of the level was a bit of a not very puzzly. If you had the right skills at the end, you solved basically. Nothing special about the right hand side of that level. So we're on to Spiky 12, just another lem in the wall. This one wasn't too bad. This level very much reminded me of that level in Taxing, tribute to MC Escher on the original Lemmings, and it's quite smart actually. It's actually quite a smart level because you've got to make. There's something pretty smart in this level, I'm sure of it. So basically, what I did first was make sure I bombed that bit out, just to make sure I didn't use too many bombers and have nothing left at the end. Okay, so we bombed there and then platformed across with this to get the lemmings up there, because bombing that won't get the lemmings up there very effectively. I think this is where the smart stuff happened, because it was actually quite hard to get very high on this one. So the trick was you had to start platforming, and then blow the lemming up to make a little staircase there. And I think once I figured that bit out, the rest of the level just followed, because it's not too hard to blow this to make a staircase in this little block here, if you know how. So I'm just going to fast forward this bit. Just going to be very careful with it. And I used all 10 bombers, so I ended up saving exactly on the save requirement. I'm not sure if it's possible to save any more, but correct me if I'm wrong. So we're on to Spiky 13 now. And I think I backrouted this a bit, but I told Namida about it, and he said, oh, this level's very easily backroutable, so nothing to be concerned about. I think I ended up saving 19 lemmings as well. And this, because this is a zombie level, it uses the Beast 2 music. So we dug, but it's still a hazardous drop, so we had to give a floater at the bottom. And that platformer made another lemming turn around. We basically needed 2 worker lemmings down here for this to work, and the rest of the lemmings just walked a long way around. We needed it because we needed to get rid of this zombie. And look at this lemming dropped just behind the zombie, and I was able to make it. Well, I cancelled the replay. Silly me. Yeah, so basically I made the lemming a basher on the very last frame before it got zombified, but luckily the basher carried on and bashed the wall out, so the zombie was dead and both zombies died basically. So I was able to fence through and platform across just in time for the rest of the crowd to reach. It was very annoying that you couldn't change the release rate on this level because it was locked at 50, which is about one of the most annoying things you can do in this game. So obviously a blocker had to go somewhere and I didn't use it, so hence why I saved 19. Okay, so we're on to Spiky 14 now. And this was actually the last level I solved in this rank. It was very, very hard. And I didn't get any. Why didn't I get the talisman? Oh yeah, because I use. How can you do this with only 1 blocker? That's ridiculous. Alright, so I'm going to go through the difficulties I had this level. The only destructive skills you got in this level are bombers and diggers. One bomber and 1 digger. And if you try digging at the edge here, you won't go all the way through the pillar. So you had to use the bomber in this pillar here, otherwise you would not be getting to the other side of it. So, and this teleporter does actually get used, despite what I initially thought. I thought the teleporter was just a bit of a decoy, because the teleporter would make the lemmings fall on the flamethrower. But if the lemming was a glider, then it would not fall on the flamethrower; it would just avoid it. So I'll just show the solution. So I bombed there at the edge, and then I made a glider straight out the trapdoor, because a glider straight out the trapdoor would get onto this bit here. And the idea is we build and then fence the exit, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do the builder now, but we're not going to do the fencer yet. And very appropriately, I put a blocker on the edge here because this glider needs to turn around. So the hardest part of this level is getting this pillar dug out and the glider through to this other side before to build this bridge. Because if you don't have this bridge here, then everything's going to fall apart. And luckily the glider, that's the eureka moment when they figure out the glider lands on this pillar, because the biggest problem with this level was getting the glider across to build this bridge and then getting it back on top of that pillar to dig. And it took me a while to realise you have to put a blocker there, which is why the release rate runs up to 99. And the other block is used there to stop the lemmings going into the teleporter, which is, I don't see how you can do without that blocker and get the 28 save requirement for the talisman. This was a very unusual level anyway, and this was actually the last level I solved in the rank. Okay, so on to Spiky 15. Spiky 15, don't forget, 10 lemmings, 9 to be saved. Right, well, at first glance you probably think, oh, I have to go over the top of this level, but you actually don't go over the top of this level at all, because one, you have nowhere near enough skills to even get through this net. You can't even get through this netting, because you just can't. You haven't got enough skills. So this one was very difficult, but it had a very nice crowd control trick in it. So we dug, and then one lemming would rig a by, which we could subsequently give a glider to. and then it platforms across to stop the lemmings falling into this hole here. And this digger actually carries on digging. And then this was the part I was missing in this level, because I was initially getting this lemming to bash through and just platform across, but then I found that you wouldn't have enough skills to then finish the level. Because what you actually need to do is you need to start this basher. You need to get this digger to bash. So you need to make the platforms in such a way such that the basher can go through the whole lot, the wall included. So this is actually quite a smart solution. Just because of the way the cogs are laid out, the basher actually does carry on. So this is a very nice level, I thought. And as you can see, the 2 steps will just be done by the builder, and then subsequently a climber and a bomber. And as you can see as well, the right hand side, there's something to stop the climber splatting as well. So once you get this far, it's very easy to finish the level. I think the reason I made that guy a climber was to stop him coming back and falling in the hole here. Made him climb up the right hand side here. Luckily that was an option. Okay, so that's 5 more levels down. I think the last 5 have 3 of the hardest levels out of the 5. Level 14 was one of the hardest levels in the rank as well. So 6 and 14 were the 2 of the hardest 5. So the last 3 are in the next video, which I'll see you next time.